What is going on, everybody? What is going on, the Catch fam? It is Steven here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the must-start kickers for your fantasy football teams going into Week 15. If you are not already a part of the Catch fam, certainly encourage you to hit that subscribe button, join the best community in all of fantasy football. And if you do enjoy this video or any of the other videos we put out there, also appreciate if you hit that like button. Most importantly, get in those comments. Let us know what is going on in your playoff situation. Let us know if you got the bye week. Let us know if you're playing this week. And if you're playing this week, let us know what your waivers and roster situation is so we can set your team up ahead of this weekend, guys. And we got a special appearance. We got Santa Claus up in here because it is Christmas time. It is the holiday season. And what better to unpack on Christmas Day than the must-start kickers? I'll tell you what I want to unwrap underneath the Christmas tree, ladies and gentlemen. That is Daniel CARLSON, my guy, my stud, my man, Daniel CARLSON for the Las Vegas Raiders playing the New England Patriots this week. Just look at what he's been doing over this last month, guys. 13, 9, 10, and 12, and that's really just what he's been doing over the past 2 years, guys. Still not over 70% rostered. I would really say if you're in the playoff hunt, you probably have CARLSON. And if you're still looking for a kicker to start this week, CARLSON has got to be your guy if you can get your hands on him. He is just going to be that dude that wins the kicker matchup every week, is a competitive advantage. The Patriots should be a tasty matchup as well, because I think this Vegas Raiders Patriots game is going to be a low touchdown upside type of game. I think it's going to really be between the kickers here and the defense of the New England Patriots to really put up a lot of points. I don't think the Raiders offense is really going to be able to convert a whole lot of touchdowns in this game. I think the Patriots defense, they may bend with Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, but in the red zone, I think is when they put the clamps on it, and that's where CARLSON can get it done. And honestly, CARLSON can get it done once you get to the 50-plus range. So I have a lot of faith in this guy. And next week, he's got the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is just a super juicy matchup as well. So you need to have this dude for your playoff stretch, guys. You cannot get rid of him. Man, pack my stuffing extra stuffed, baby, because Harrison Butker, baby, he is the man. That is my number 2 kicker on the week, guys. Going up against the Houston Texans, I think he's going to be a stud as well. He's had some great performances over the last month, with 3 out of the 4 games being in the double digits, and that's against opponents like the Denver Broncos, Cincinnati Bengals, the Rams, and the Chargers. Now we get the Houston Texans in a dome-controlled environment. I really like that, and I don't expect this to be a close game. But you look at it, and last week, Brett Maher for the Dallas Cowboys had a very good game for the Cowboys in comparison to what he's been doing recently. And that was also an expected game where the Cowboys were supposed to run in there and win by 20 points, right? So who knows exactly what happens in this game, but what I can say is I think the Chiefs offense is going to move the ball very easily, and I think Harrison Butker is going to get a lot of opportunities. And being in that dome-controlled environment in this type of season where it's, the weather's starting to come in, we're obviously starting to hear rumors about this Bills Dolphins game that's going to have a lot of weather. You want to target these kind of games. So I think Butker is a great play this week. And then after that, he's got Seattle and Denver as well. So Harrison Butker, still under 70% rostered. He's been really hot since week 11, and I kind of want to stay in the flames with this guy right now, so you can go ahead and you can snack. Up next, the number 3 option I got here, but the number 1 kicker in my life, guys. That's Nick Folk for the New England Patriots going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. So I already talked about what I think this game script's going to be in this Raiders-Patriots game. But I just got to show some love for my Nick Folkster right here, man. He is just such a good player, such a good kicker. And the Pats really do rely on this guy. He just had 11 fantasy points against the Arizona Cardinals. Being in a dome again against the Las Vegas Raiders, I think is going to be very good. The Raiders are a good matchup to target for the kicker position as well. We'll see what happens with the Ramondre news throughout the week. We'll see what happens with Jacoby Myers on the Patriots side as well. But in any event, I think that this Pats offense is going to move the ball enough against this Raiders defense to be able to put our guy Nick Folk in good position here. So I really like him, and relatively, he is low rostered. I mean, 49%. He's under 50% rostered. He's going to be available for sure. And after this weekend's Las Vegas Raiders, which I love him in, He's got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Miami Dolphins. So a couple other good starts as well. So go out and get Nick Folk. I've got a lot of faith in him this week, and I got a lot of faith in this guy in general. I think he's a great kicker, and he is on the Santa's good list, guys. He is not a naughty boy. He's got no coal in his stocking. Nick Folk to the moon, baby. He's a stud. Up next, talking about the number 13 kicker on the season, guys. Robbie Gould for the San Francisco 49ers, Brock Purdy's right-hand man, right? So Deebo Samuel goes down in that game against Tampa Bay. That was a barn burner, man. I mean, Brock Purdy and the 49ers were lighting up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I do not expect that to be the case in the Seattle game. It's a division rivalry game. Seattle is definitely in the playoff mix. I expect this to be a much tighter, much more physical, much closer game with a lot more passion on both sides. And Robbie Gould is 24% rostered, and he's very necessary to the offense. Before this 5-point performance against Tampa Bay, where he just seriously wasn't needed at all of his usage was 5 extra point attempts that he got against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was getting really good games. I mean, getting in that 8 to 10 range, and he had the 18-point performance against Miami. So I like him this week against Seattle, with that exception of if any weather comes about, you might need to pivot, right? But I think him and Jason Myers are going to be in some good opportunities for kicking here. Jason Myers, I'm actually a little bit less confident in, just because I think that 49ers defense is just absolutely lethal. But Robbie Gould, I do have a lot of faith in against the Seattle Seahawks defense. And if you look at the last time they played, I know this is a totally different situation a long time ago, but back in week 2, 8 fantasy points as well, guys. That's just been very consistent with what we've seen out of Robbie all year. So I like him again this week. And then the following 2 weeks after that, he's got the Washington Commanders. And in the championship, he has the Las Vegas Raiders, which, you know, I love that matchup there too. So he's a good kicker to keep your eyes on, not only this week, but also the next couple weeks if you've got a better kicker in mind for this week and you want to look at some stashes down the road. Up next, we're going to pivot to that time of the video where we look at some options that are maybe a little bit less rostered kickers, right? So more available for you guys if a lot of the better kickers are already rostered in your leagues and you're hunting for a good kicker in the playoffs, guys. Well, Chase McLaughlin this week going up against the Minnesota Vikings. I've obviously been targeting the Vikings with really high consistency over the past few weeks, whether it be Greg Zuerlein, Nick Folk, or Badgley for the Lions, and they've all produced double-digit performances, big-time games, and it's been a really juicy matchup, I'm not going to lie, and I want to keep targeting it because just keep doing it until it doesn't work, right? Well, I think the Colts-Vikings here, this is going to be a good game plan for the kicker here. It's in Minnesota, obviously, and I think Chase McLaughlin for the Indianapolis Colts, he's number 15 on the season, coming off the bye week. He's had some really good games where he's had that double-digit upside performance. He's had the 17-point performance back in week 5 against the Denver Broncos, where we really got to see what he's made of. But he's a good kicker, man. I think this Indianapolis Colts offense coming off the bye week is going to be better than what we've seen recently. So I think they're going to have a little bit more juice in the tank. I think McLaughlin's going to have a little bit more opportunities. And man, I think this is going to be one of the better opportunities for streaming. And again, I mean, he's under 5% rostered. He's super available. I would not be scared of going after this guy. I think he's a good opportunity and a good start if you need to find a kicker that is low rostered. Up next, I'm going to talk about Will Lutz for the New Orleans Saints here. So another dome environment game going up against the wildly bet Younghoe Koo for the Atlanta Falcons, right? No, but Will Lutz going up against the Falcons, I think it's a good matchup. You know, right before the bye week, he had 10 fantasy points against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he had 10 points again back in week 11 against the Los Angeles Rams. We have seen Will Lutz put together some games where he has back-to-back and, you know, shows a lot of double-digit upside. And I think that's what we can expect here in this game as well. Will Lutz is under 10% rostered. I think this game script is going to play into the kicker position for both teams. And I think Will Lutz, I mean, he is going to be in store for a lot of opportunities. This Falcons defense is obviously terrible. We know what to expect out of the Saints offense. They're not great. They're not fantastic by any means. But I think they're going to be able to move the ball against the Atlanta Falcons. And they're going to be able to put the their guy Will Lutz into position to get the extra points and to get the field goal opportunities to give you a strong baseline. I would not be surprised at all if he walked out of here with double digits, and I think his floor is probably somewhere in the 7 to 8 range. So I think if you're looking for another low rostered guy, I think Will Lutz is perfect. He's under 10% rostered. He's going to be wildly available in your leagues because he's coming off a bye week, and he's in a really good matchup opportunity against the Atlanta Falcons. Last kicker I want to talk about here for the Washington Commanders, Joey SLYE, 2% rostered, so basically available in every league unless you play with a bunch of Virginia Tech fans, because he is a Virginia Tech alumni, Hokie Nation, right? But right before the bye week, he put together performances of 8, 7, 12, 19. Guys, he has been really hot over the last month, really kind of making a name for himself. We know about the big grizzly bearded man in Washington, Joey SLYE. I mean, he's absolutely fantastic. And look at that beard, man. Definitely something to be envious of. But honestly, this guy has been a beast, bro. He has had a lot of 40 to 49 attempts. If you look over the past month or so, I mean, he's got one in every single game. So they trust him a ton with the deep shots, and he has had 2 50-plus yard field goals where he's made them as well back in week 10, where he had the 19-point fantasy performance. He gets to go up against the Giants, which are a pretty good opportunity to stream against for the kicker position. I mean, and if you look at it, back in week 13, he had 8 fantasy points. He got the usage. Coming off the bye week here, I think the Commanders are going to win this game against the Giants. But I think this is just going to be a game where the Commanders move the ball on offense a little bit better than they did last time they played. I think Heineke gets it done. I think Brian Robinson runs the ball well. And I think Joey SLYE is going to be in store for a good game here. So I have a lot of faith in him as well. And I think you can definitely start him and you can definitely play him in this matchup here. The week after, he's got the San Francisco 49ers. So I want no part of Joey SLYE after this week, but this week against the Giants, I think is a good play. And with all that said, guys, this has been the must-start kickers for your fantasy football teams going into week 15. Certainly hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, appreciate it if you hit that like button. Most importantly, make sure to get in those comments and let us know what is going on in your rosters and your waivers so we can help set up your team. And make sure to hit that subscribe button as well and join the best community in all of fantasy football so that you can be connected with all of our videos and get connected with the best community, man. But with all that said, this has been the Must Start Kickers, and you saw it first at the catch.